Who disturbed me?
No, Dario. I'm not doing this.
This is your fault. You went soft on that merchant. Barely nicked him. Reckon he lived and ratted us out to the constable. So we're gonna lay low in these ruins and sit on our haul. Who knows? Maybe we'll find treasures inside that'll make us rich.
Rich? You're gonna kill us all. Wow's eyes. Who are you?
Hey, first of all, we only bled that merchant a bit. Still quite alive when we left him.
I don't like this, Dario. This is how we get ourselves killed. First you said we should come to the Living Lands, and I went with you.
Stealing from that merchant was your idea, though. And credit where credit is due. It was a solid one.
Now you want me to break into some dungeon full of traps? I've had it.
Kuta bow. If it bothered you that much, you should have said so. Told you we should have gone into the ruins instead. I told you it'd be simpler. Now look what happened.
Under my protection. I need a We're not getting in through there. In retrospect, I should have seen that coming. A marvel of engineering, this place. Can't believe it's still standing.
Love to see someone else so active in their twilight years.
No way forward. Who's next? Anyone? Looks like we weren't the only ones searching for the heart. This has to be a joke, right? No treasure is worth this much trouble. least it's a dry heat. Kai knows the area better than I do. Tricky.
Yes, of course. Everything but the treasure was trapped. How silly of me to assume otherwise.
Thank Aethys. I thought you'd never come out of there. I've been waiting for ages. Uncle Capo taught me a thing or two about how to survive. It's why he's always so... No! I can't get distracted. This is too important. Listen to me. I came to find you as soon as I heard what my uncle asked you to do. I just wanted you to meet him, not go on one of his stupid escapades. Please, you don't understand. You have to put the heart back. Or take it away. Whatever you do, don't give it to him. I've tried to be a good Nakai to him. I really have. I've given him everything he wanted. But this is different. Apparently, if you grind a fossilized Leviathan heart and mix it with wine, it becomes a poison. I found his notes on it. I think that's what he wants it for. I don't know, but he's been more and more upset lately. I'm afraid he believes he's so sick. He has no other choice. He's been a hero for so long. I don't think he can imagine a life in bed. You've got to put a stop to it. Any way you know how.
The wolf eats the hemlock. What suffering could be so great?
It couldn't be. It wouldn't be. He's not soulless or mindless. Not like he's still himself. Whatever it is, it can't be worth dying for. Then we've got to go back. Right now. I'll go find the Tiranui. He'll know what to do. If you can talk any sense into him, Just hurry. I'll be there when I can. I hope so.
Hey there, brother. Here for a dip? Or we can get right to business, 'cause a glint in your eye says you're here for a reason. No shit! Is it a special occasion? Should I wear my nice shorts?
It's at the Swordfish. I don't think you need to worry about formality.
It's been a long time coming. You talked to the others yet?
Yes, that spicy one with the bad haircut. She gave us quite a tongue lashing.
Yep, sounds like Ranga. She's convinced the captain's trying to kill her. That's family for you. I hope you can get her to come, Envoy. I'd give my left pinky toe to see that scowl of hers again.
You know, the weepy one. He'll be there.
That so? How's he doing these days? Oh. I guess our drinks will be pretty somber then, huh? He needs Ranga, really. They were tight, like twine. Well, you know how it is. Captain says one thing, maybe we say another. Maybe we had a deal go sideways. Maybe it was politics. maybe the deal was also kind of politics. See, old Captain likes an empire. Loves all the pomp and circumstance. Wronga, though. Nothing gets her madder than people thinking anyone could be born to wear a crown.
Well, nothing divides like politics, I suppose.
I wouldn't be caught dead anywhere else.
Don't have too much fun.
Protect the envoy.
On the left!
On your right. Patience.
Keep quiet.
coming for Lutheran next.
We have been here before. Do you hear the dust whisper on the wind? Muscles in the tide pools, the swell of life. Now our memory is a wound reopened. You are Nimana, one of those who speak for us. Your gift shone a different shade from others of your kind. The souls of the departed danced before you like sea foam. Tell us, what did you make of the songs they sang to you? A mouth, a conduit, a welcome curiosity. One day, a voice called you to the wilds outside your village. Find us in the highest heights, we said. Come, speak to us. You left your world behind, set off upon uncharted sea. Cocoon, a traveling cloak. Break down to transform the self. One day, you came to the place where the stone challenged the clouds. Night fell. 100 blazing lights refracted in the sky. We appeared. Your essence joined with ours. We shared what we had seen. You perceived us in new colors. Tell us, Nimana, what did you learn? The bee pollinates the blossom. One hand serves the next. You sailed home to the village, eager to share what you had seen. We prickled. Something was wrong. Trouble like salt on the breeze. People had chased the water back. They raised the wood and stone. They built a tremendous temple. They offered us their stores of food. A bond. They cowered before it. They grew jealous of it. They feared you. They feared us. They tried to placate, to control. Your eyes turned up. You saw a statue, a prison. This was not our form. A wellspring boiled. Our cry rose in your throat. This could not stand. A tongue bitten. You hung your head. They piled the offerings higher. Why did you not speak for us? The cub cannot know its strength. The ground shakes. The thorns prick. A crack carves through the pillars. Why? The tide crashes. The earth gives way beneath our roofs. We thought... No. We feel nothing. We swipe at echoes of the past. We remember now. A cut. A chasm as deep as the sea. A wound gouged into our skin in our thrashing. We did this. To punish? To harm? No. We did not think. We merely flinched. The sun rose on the barren earth. We had swallowed the village. Nothing but ruins remained. Those who survived were cast adrift, whales beached on the sand. You could have led them, but in the chaos, you had disappeared. A pain left behind, a flower in a strange land. People again condemned to wander. A village, one day rebuilt. In time, all those who spoke for us came to Thirdborn to face their fate. Tradition without memory, a trial of unknown lineage. We saw the clay settle on the ammonite, and we learned. We twine together. We reach for the sky. We grow. We grow. We grow.
Subtle as a mouse. Look around. The cartographer can't have gone far.
What of you? You can feel how much Thirdborn wanted to honor their dead.
Hear me out. What if we throw caution to the wind, sample the goods, and never speak of this again? Interested?
A breeze. The mind proceeds with unclouded eyes and sees the truth.
Probably a good idea. Still, you never learn if you don't try.
I must have done 100 shifts on those watchtowers. Never saw so much Thirdborn blood under them. Thomas Memorial. Never thought anything could contain that man, you know? That booming laugh, that bottomless appetite, boundless energy. Now he's under a pile of rocks. You're just making this more real. This is where you're supposed to distract me, lighten the mood with a wisecrack or something. Well, you didn't have to give me the truth. There's something I didn't tell you about Thomas' death. Remember how I noticed he'd lost his badge? I went out. I told him I was going to go find it. He told me to stay. I said I'd be right back. That's what I said, anyway. As soon as I was out of there, I just walked. And I kept walking. It's pretty simple. He was dying. I couldn't face it, so I left him to face it alone. Now you know why I never went back to his house in Emerald Stair. Why I never came back to Thirdborn. Don't sell me short, Envoy. I'm nothing if not tenacious. The truth is, traveling with you and Marius, getting to know Giada and Yahtzee. It's felt easy. Too easy. Don't get me wrong, it's been nice. But I'm not a joiner. I'm good for a skirmish, some war stories, a few drinks, but I'm not someone you keep around. Come on, you know my story now. I let people down. I let them down when they're counting on me most. Or maybe I learned plenty. I know what I am. I'm finally facing it. But he's not here, and that is because of me. I'm finally owning that. What? No, I didn't. He died pulling my ass out of the fire, and I still let him face it alone. How can I remember him without remembering that? He was all those things. I never forgot it. I guess I stopped thinking of him as anything other than a dying man I left behind. I never realized I'd let my failure change the way I remembered him. One of the things I loved about Tama was how he gave us all a fresh start. No matter where we'd come from or what we'd done. I drifted to Paradise, but never thought about where I'd go from this. Tama always talked about the places he hoped to see. The islands of Deadfire, the tundras of Nasitok, the ancient cities of Old Valia. Maybe I ought to see some of those places for us both. As a traveler, not a soldier. Once we've stopped the Dream Scourge and dealt with the Steel Garrote. I've got some things to sort out, but it feels good to have something to look forward to.
For the camp of an official Adiran envoy, I was expecting a little more. A proper bed, at least. But I suppose this will do for now. As long as you have a bath, of course. With how overwrought you Adirans can be, I expected at least some tacky rugs. But, as riveting as it is to complain about our accommodations, I imagine you have another topic in mind? Well, because I'm the foremost expert on the godless, of course. So I must study their artifacts when I can. Unfortunately, it's been quite some time since I've met another who focused on the godless as I do. And I imagine I'd be more knowledgeable on the subject than anyone else you could find. Technically, yes. Well, it set me on the path, at least. When I got my first grimoire as a child, I was trying out some of the fancy new spells I'd been given. I was attempting a simple illusion spell, but I must have slurred my words. The next thing I know, everything was on fire. I'm sure they were sick to death of hearing me speak of the Circle of Archmagi. Oh, Lendegrath transfers their memories. Reengrim is a master illusionist. There's someone named Tane. I'm sure they thought it was harmless. Not that I'd burned down the house. What is childhood but for silly things? When else can you get away with arson? My father was able to pull me from the flames as my mother doused them. I burned myself badly enough to give myself some vivid dreams, but the house still stood at the end. Just the usual things. Not studying for an exam, having all your teeth fall out. They're not nearly as enjoyable as my more provocative dreams. Oh, you're no fun. As delightful as you are, we've much to do and less time to do it in. Shall we go?
Listen, thank you for visiting Tama's memorial with me. I ran from that for so long. I never would have faced it without your help. I know. I'd forgotten what that feels like. By the way, now that we've gotten to know each other, let me know if you want to train together. I've been watching your form, and I think we could learn from one another. Like I just woke up with a hangover. Every feeling, every memory I tried to keep a lid on is sloshing around, and I'm struggling to keep my balance. But I'm also remembering moments I hadn't let myself think on in a long time. Feeling warmth I couldn't get close to. Yeah, after I ride out the worst of it.
We think of grief as a burden, as something to be conquered. After a while, it gets to be so familiar, it's almost a source of comfort.
I wish this were another burden to conquer. That would feel easier. It's hard to imagine grief ever being a comfort, but I'll have to take your word for it.
I'm sure you'll be fine.
Thanks. I'll get there. And thank you for seeing this through with me. Was there something else? Shake the sand out of your bedroll. Thirdborn. If it weren't for the Leviathan skeleton in the middle of town, I'd hardly recognize the place. 6 years ago. Feels longer now. You ever come back to a place and feel like the buildings are smaller and the colors are duller? Then you get it. Thirdborn was always this rugged oasis. Dangerous and out of the way, but bursting with vitality. It was a harbor for larger-than-life types. People like Capo, the Leviathan Slayer, and Tama. Glory seekers, trophy hunters, warriors trying to leave their battles behind. People who built around their stories and their scars. I guess it felt like one, too. Hardtack and Merc brew after a long day's patrol tasted better than any feast. Being back, it felt like we were watching Thirdborn die a slow death. True. But I can't help but feel that the Thirdborn I knew 6 years ago would have faced it better. I think what's eating at me is that Thirdborn seems rudderless. The Dream Scourge is one threat. Conflict with Adir is another. The Living Lands is changing, and Thirdborn feels like a barnacle on a moving ship. Temerita's leading them as best she can, but towards what? What are we doing out here besides surviving? Or it'll go the way of the godless and their ruins. Not sure which idea makes me more uneasy. What about you? You were sent by your emperor to investigate the Dream Scourge. Since then, you've died, met a secret god, and gotten swept up in tensions between your empire and our scattered settlements. You released Igwolf, but you didn't stop the Steel Garrote's attack on Fjord. Do you know what you're sailing towards, or are you drifting with the tides? That kind of clarity is rare. Thanks for talking. I hope Thirdborn is able to find its way somehow. Night, Envoy. Hey, I wanted to talk to you about what happened. I know your Emperor sent you here to represent Adir, but the Steel Garrote raising Fjord has gotta make things harder for you. Then why did your Emperor send them? Yeah, and they don't make your job any easier. Look, I'm not trying to hold your feet to the fire over this. The cruelty we saw, it's hard to reconcile that with the place you've called home. I just wanted to know how you're feeling about all this. I hear that. Unfortunately, I don't think this situation is going to get any easier. It makes venturing through the treacherous wild seem like a relief. Anyway, I just want to check in with you. This may be your burden, but you don't have to carry it alone. What's on your mind? I'll be here if you... I've been meaning to talk to you about Katoa and Hayako. I didn't think it was possible to talk them down, but you managed it. And you say more than their foolish hides. Those two fought for Rawatai in the Deadfire. They learned how to disrupt enemy movements and destroy supply lines. They'd have nipped and poked at your comrades at Eagle's Reach until Adir finally snapped back. At Thirdborn, most likely. All while the two of them remain secure and defended in their tower. Nor I, but this goes beyond defense. Thirdborn's under threat, but if loose cannons like them fire at everything that moves, they'll draw even more trouble to our walls.
They lash out like cornered animals, giving the Steel Garrote a reason to fight back. Not that they need a reason.
Still, better not to give them one. Hey, I never said I had answers. There's trouble on the horizon, but stunts like theirs are only going to speed it along. You really think any amount of chest thumping would turn away Ludwig and the Steel Garrote? Or the full force of the Adiran army, if it came to that? The Living Lands is changing. We've got more ships coming to port every year. If it's not Adir, it'll be someone. I can take watch. Being here. Shake the sand out of your bedroll before you settle in.
The dream scourge is getting worse. First our land, then our animals. Now our people. If we don't put a stop to it, we're looking at the end of the Living Lands. How can anyone expect us to do both? As if the Dream Scourge wasn't enough of a problem, the Adirans are profiting off our misfortune. They haven't come to help us. They're here to exploit our weakness. The Steel Garrote are a weapon. Who do you think wields them? It's too bad. We're fighting for our lives, our souls, and our freedom. I don't know if we can win all three. I've been better, if you hadn't noticed. Maybe it has something to do with my home burning down. My apologies for acting cynical, but it feels as if nature, politics, and even the very gods are working against us. I don't appreciate being backed into a corner, but here I am. If I must. Despite everything that's happened, I'm so grateful to be working with Yatzli. In many ways, Quilichi has been like a second father to me. But Yatzli, she's like my dirty aunt who's up to no good. Oh, she's an expert in that field. While I have your attention, I've been thinking. Why is Inquisitor Ludwig suddenly interested in godless ruins? When it comes to her, there's never any good news. We should be ready for anything. Something tells me Ludwig isn't finished with us yet. What do you want?